Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Owner's Box. I'm Billy Koch, founder and managing partner of Little Red Feather Racing Club. Joining me alongside, as always, look like one is in the summer and one is in the winter. It's Michelle. Michelle, you're not as cold. I guess I could just turn on the heat.
No, I don't turn on the heat in my house. Like literally, I feel
I don't
bad for
either.
Ryan in the morning because it's like 64 in my house,
Right?
and he like gets up, and when I get up and it's like 68, I'm like, ooh, it's probably chilly for him this morning.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I don't like the
Uh,
heat because here I like to be cold because you can always get warm, right?
yeah, I
But if you're
agree.
hot, you can never get cold.
I totally agree. I like to wear like the sweat, like a sweatpants and the nice comfy sweatsuits,
Totally what
right?
I'm wearing right now.
And
So,
look at I have these. Wait, I have these things that my wife got me.
ooh, what are those? Are like a knitted booty.
Yes, like I think they're called Bobos, maybe.
Oh, I gotta look that up. So like, not is it Bombas?
Bombas.
Oh,
Bombas.
Bombas makes a knitted booty, or is it like a sock?
It's like a sock. It's like a
A slipper sock?
yeah, like a slipper sock. I don't know where the name is though.
Okay, I
Oh,
love
here.
Bombas
No,
because they don't have
Bombas. Yeah,
a seam.
Bombas.
Yeah,
Bombas.
they were on Shark Tank.
They were?
Yeah.
How do you have time to watch Shark Tank?
So, because I have insomnia, and back in the day, that was all I watched was Shark Tank. What are you drinking?
Today I have this thing called Nixie sparkling. What did I have last week that you really liked?
The Ollie.
No, no, I think it was Waterloo. Maybe no.
Oh, I haven't.
No?
I've never had Waterloo. Maybe that
Oh,
got us talking about Ollie.
that's what it was. That's what it
Okay,
was.
because I like Ollie.
Well, we were gonna have a really cool guest today, but at the last minute they canceled. So you guys are just getting me and Michelle talking for a half hour.
Which
And
is
so
people love
far,
that
I
anyways.
think it's been just an absolute blast. I talked to Pete Fornatel today, our quote unquote boss. He was like, I was like, hey Pete, you have any numbers? He's like, yeah, no one listens to the shows anymore. It's all on YouTube. I'm like, well, is anybody watching? He goes, I have to look into that. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
You know what's
Um,
crazy is that, like, I mean, everyone says they listen. I hear all kinds of reviews about it.
it's really funny. I call our show, I think we have like a cult following.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we have huge numbers like other shows, but I think there are some people that literally tune into us every week. We appreciate you. We love you. And I think, but it is so funny. And we talked about this all the time. Like, Michelle will like go to Keeneland and someone randomly will just stop her and go, hey, by the way, I love the show. And
Yeah, and then they'll be like, "Oh, this week was so great," and they have a segment of it, like they know exactly what went down,
it's really
right?
funny. So anyway, we're gonna just have some soapbox and talk
I would
about kind of what's going on in the industry.
I want to hear what your soapbox is right now.
My soapbox
Do
is
we have
this
so
week.
many soapboxes? Is it
I have
like
so many soapboxes. Okay, where do you want to start? You want to start with the Eclipse Awards?
yeah, let's start the Eclipse Awards.
Okay, I don't really have too many soapboxes about the Eclipse Awards. I actually, I thought it
Did
was
you go?
I went for the first time since 2004
Okay.
or 2005, I guess. So I hadn't been in 20 years. It was, I thought, very well done. Uh,
Orchestrated?
I thought, yeah, it was great. You went and you had a cocktail hour and you got to see some people maybe that you don't see all the time from the East Coast or, excuse me, from Kentucky.
Mhm.
That was really nice. I may have had one or two too many browns by the time the thing started. But then the meal was good. Like the seating was good. The way they did it, Amy Zimmerman and her crew for the telecast. Now, obviously, I didn't see it on TV. I was there live, but I thought it ran very well. I did not at any point say like, God, this is really slow. Like I think they
Right.
really kind of
Pepped it
kept
up.
kept
Mhm.
to task, so to speak. And I thought overall, like there were no really big surprises. I think I heard when I was leaving that the Chad Brown Ken McPeak vote was very close
Yeah,
for
it was
Trainer of the
like
Year,
yeah, it was like 4 votes away, I feel
right?
like.
Which
And I
was
think the
interesting.
same for 3-year-old was really close too.
Yes, but other than that, I thought it was very. I can't. I don't want to. I have nothing negative to really say about
Older turf male too that went to Rebels Romance.
it.
I
Yeah,
think took on to Johannes, and I think that it was like a 3 or 4 vote difference.
yeah, that's too bad because we really liked the owners of Johannes. They've been on the
Mhm.
show. They made a huge donation to Karma this year.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so that was too bad. I mean, but there's not, you can't like, I don't know. I guess you could say, hey, that horse won run race in America, but it was the Breeders' Cup Turf and the horse had an amazing year. So I get arguments both ways. I have no soapboxing for the Eclipse Awards. The whole overall, I did spend a week in Florida. I'm going to be honest on the air right now, so the world can hear. I'm not a Florida guy. I'm just not.
Do you like Florida more than Saratoga or Saratoga more than Florida?
I think I like New York better than Florida.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like,
but not Saratoga specifically.
Not Saratoga specifically. Would I rather spend the day at Saratoga or spend the day at Gulfstream Park? Yeah. I'm going to say Saratoga.
Okay.
I don't, for whatever reason. And now we can go. Now we can go. Like when I go to Florida, I went to Ocala, which was, to see our babies, which was great. Then I drove to a buddy of mine that I went to college with.
Your room is haunted, by the way.
My room's haunted?
Your door is opening and closing.
Oh, it's probably the dogs. I just left it open because no one's here, and Lila is literally staring at herself in the mirror right now. Okay. I'm in my son's room. So I don't. So then I drove to Delray Beach, which was very nice, but it's in like a community, like a golf. Like I don't know, it's not even a golf community, but it's like you're driving down this huge street, and then they have like the Bridges is over here, and the this is over here, and it's like these little communities. It's interesting. My friend is a very nice house. I have nothing, but it's just like, and then I drove to Breakers where I was cold because I played in the charity golf tournament. So I had to buy this hoodie.
Well, that was the golf I was asking you about because you played with Matt, you shared a cart with Matt Nakatani.
I did. Thank God for Matt Nakatani because he carried us. We shot 7 under. I don't know what the winner had because we got out of here. It was cold. That was so strange for Florida. It was cold and it was kind of drizzly. The Breakers golf course, fantastic, great resort course. It was a lot of fun to play in that. Then I went to the Eclipse Awards. Then I drove down to.
What'd you wear at the Eclipse Awards?
Just a black suit with like a black tie and a white shirt. It looked like a waiter. I don't like getting dressed up, period. But then I went down to Hallandale, right? And I stayed at Turnberry, which is a great hotel. What a nice hotel that is. Fantastic. And but then the Gulfstream, I don't know what it is because I will tell you that because we're going to talk about Pegasus, I imagine, so I can kind of lead into that. But the racing, the card was fantastic. It was a fun day. It was a lot of really good horses, big prices. You had to get creative. You were there. We bet a pick 5 together that lost.
Terrible.
But I don't know what it is about that track that I don't get this like homey feeling. I guess I'm such a Del Mar, Keeneland, Santa Anita. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Maybe just because you don't go all the time. So like you're not as familiar.
It could be because let me tell you something. They treated us so well. Special thanks to Stacy Nix and Belinda and her whole team. Like we sat in this owner's section that was great. The food was amazing. The view was spectacular. Everybody was there. It was a good environment. I don't know what, and this is on me. I don't think it's not Gulfstream's fault. Our horses never run well there for some reason. Balnikov had like the worst trip ever.
Okay, hold on. I have to interrupt you then.
Yeah.
So I did the Crown Jewels racing, right? And Oisin comes up and he had ridden Balnikov. And I was like, hey, what'd you think of my little horse? He goes, Balnikov? The guy goes, oh, I'm so sorry, Michelle. I'm so his whole demeanor, because he came in all happy, having a cigar. I mean, as soon as I said Balnikov, and he was like, oh, like his whole thing fell. He was like, I'm so sorry. I got that horse the worst ride. I got him the worst trip. I put him in the worst spots. He said he never even had a chance. The whole time he's looking at me thinking, what are you doing right now?
Well, it was really funny because, and this is an interesting thing. So I'm going to ask you this, okay? You saw the race. You've spoken to Oisin. When I talk, I usually go down and talk to the jockey after the race. I take a video and send to our partners and everything. And he was extremely apologetic. He was very humble. He said the horse was prepared great. He said he was in a great spot. He was felt like he was ready to uncork. And he said he was following Nation's Pride.
Yeah.
Now, I personally, I can't get too mad at a guy who apologized and said, look, this was my plan. I was saving ground. I was following Nation's Pride.
I'm following the favorite.
Yeah. And Nation's Pride just didn't go anywhere. And I just was stuck. And it's like, Is that bad luck? Like, how do you take that when a jockey says that to you? Because you're obviously disappointed because, look, I don't know if he would have won, but he would have been up in the top 5 probably, right? I mean, the way he usually finishes, assuming he makes that run, gets through or gets something. How do you take that when a jockey says that to you and really took the blame?
I mean, I feel like when they have a plan and the plan makes sense and it doesn't come to fruition. I mean, you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna be behind the 2-to-1 favorite. I'm always gonna have him in my sights." And
Right.
that way when he moves, I'm moving at the same time and we just
Right.
hope to outkick him and or he's gonna carve a path and we're getting through, right? I mean,
Right.
it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't work out. And I would have been more mad if like Nation's Pride had won by 5 and he was like, "I was right behind him, but like,
Yeah.
didn't get there." Like that, I would have been really mad about that.
Yeah.
But
I
like
agree.
when he has a plan, then he knew right away, like,
Oh, he
crap.
knew. It was really I felt really bad. We had some owners there, and it was one of those races that like was so disappointing, but yet we couldn't really blame the horse. Like you couldn't like, hey, like a lot of time, what happened? Like we know exactly what
Yeah,
happened,
right.
and take nothing away from the horses that won. I thought that was a great race. Spirit of St. Louis ran a great race, and Integration ran a great race. I think it's funny that the favorite Nation's Pride just kind of didn't show up, and we were right behind him.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that was frustrating. And then I got on a JetBlue flight at 8 o'clock that night. See, that's my other problem, Michelle.
The flight situation?
No, the flight was outstanding. Like
Oh.
they wanted me to pay $150 for my golf clubs that I had brought. And I
Oh,
said,
because
well,
they're an
how much?
oversized item?
Yeah. And they
Okay.
were heavy. And I don't fly JetBlue a lot. I fly Delta a lot. And
Yeah, I
so,
was gonna say you should have told me, I would have brought them back on my Delta flight.
well, I'm at the counter and I'm like, I knew this was like a 6-hour flight. I was pretty tired from the week, and I was like, oh man. I had bought a like a comfort seat. I don't know what they call it on
Comfort Plus,
JetBlue.
yeah.
So I said, well, wait a second. If you're gonna charge me 150 for my clubs, if you go the Mint, if you go Mint, do that get free? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, just I'll pay for
Upgrade
Mint.
me.
Yeah, it was like, a cup of $200 to $300 extra. And I was like,
Right?
then I had this great seat with a lay down thing, and it was awesome.
Ah,
But it was 6 hours. I got home pretty late. I was tired. And here's the thing I was gonna tell you. I think now you see a lot of white. My beard's really coming in white now. I
it
just
is.
I haven't shaved in like 2 weeks. I'm old. Like in the old days,
You're
I
not
think
old.
no, but listen, what I'm saying is I didn't want to go out after the Pegasus. Like I
Right.
didn't want to go to the dance party, the thing. I like that's just again, it's me. It's not on all these people who say, "Oh, it's just a big party, whatever." Yeah, I didn't want to. So I'd rather have.
Mhm.
That's why I went home rather than stay another night, wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and get on an early flight the next day because that wouldn't have done
Mhm.
much for me anyway. But I think maybe I would have liked the whole experience if I wanted to party at it.
Done more.
Yeah.
I
Like
hear
you
that.
went to the party probably, right?
I did. Hold on 1 second, hold on.
Okay.
It's a $700 camera that I got for $300, so that's how that was why I was buying it,
We
okay.
had to take a break so Michelle could get in a fight with PayPal. Uh, anyway, so that's my Florida story. I'm standing by it. Thought White Barrio was freaking awesome. I mean, just complete domination. I thought a lot. I do have a. I don't know if I want to say this on national. What are we on? National television? Is this national
Yes,
television?
national
A
YouTube?
national
Worldwide
YouTube.
YouTube.
I was disappointed that Newgrange ran in that race. Obviously, we used to own him. Michelle knows we were big fans. Shamu won a lot of graded stakes for us, and we had sold him. They moved the owners moved him to Jose D'Angelo, and owners get to do whatever they want. So kudos. They can run wherever they want. But I'm just shocked after a half-mile drill and a 5/8 drill in 2 months that you run in the Pegasus and you're 83-1 and you lose by 79 lengths.
Mhm.
With all due respect to my friends who own the horse now, that was a tough one. That was a tough one just for kind of my heart. Does that make sense? Like I hate it. I didn't
Yeah.
like to see that. I talked to Fresu about Stronghold because if you watch that race again, he kind of hustled him out of there, and I think he said that Stronghold always
Yeah, but
comes back.
I thought he got it the way the track was playing, that seemed like the right plan, right? Was to be
It was
forward.
the
I
right
thought he was
plan,
in a
but
good
what
spot early
happened
on.
what according to Fresu,
Yeah.
what happened was, and I haven't even watched the replay of this, but apparently Mystic Dan outside of him was just constantly like putting pressure on him and like bumping him and bumping him and bumping him like the whole way down the backstretch. And that's why, you know, Stronghold just came up kind of empty. He said he had a good spot. He was really going comfortably, and Stronghold came back to him. And then the other horse was just constantly outside, bumping. And it was like just a very strangely run race. But look, give credit where credit is due. White Abarrio was absolutely fantastic. It's going to be interesting to see if he goes to Dubai. Gradually to C2. They had a big day because they also won the race before with Mystic Lake, that really, really nice filly. And they won an Eclipse Award with the filly who won the Breeders' Cup Sprint with our good friend Mark Martinez. I don't know what happened to you. You froze.
Oh, do they own her too? Sullivan Angel, they own her too?
Yes. Yeah, and they were supposed to be our guest. Michelle's frozen.
Oh, wow. Well, that's who was supposed to be on our show today. It was Clint Griffin.
Yeah. So I don't want to give them too much credit, but you are completely frozen.
I hope I froze good.
You froze like this, actually.
Hold on, let me try to close some of my tabs.
I'm sure the people listening
have too many tabs open.
This show is off the rails.
This show is always off the rails. It's fine.
How was your Florida experience?
My Florida experience was fine. Once I got there, my trip going there, we were delayed to leave, and then we like sat on the airplane on the tarmac for like 2 hours because we had no pilots. And then who are you smiling at so lovingly? Hey,
Cooper just came. Look, all my dogs are gonna run out. The door is gonna move again.
And then when we landed, they were like, "Oh, we got here, you know, pretty close to on time, just considering we left 2 hours late." And we landed. They're like, "Oh yeah, well, there's no gates available." So then we just sat on the tarmac on the other side, waiting for like a gate.
That's the worst. Actually, I think it's the worst taking off.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you're.
The shitty thing is, it's like we're on the plane, like we're buckled in, have nothing, and they're like, "Yeah, sorry, we have no pilots." If you had no pilots, why are we on the plane? Why are we not sitting in the lobby with a drink, or you know what I mean?
With a drink,
well, or something. I mean, because now we're on the plane, we can't go to the bathroom, we got no air conditioning, like all that, you know. Which that's the worst for me is sitting on the plane with no AC. So once I got to Florida, it was good. I had a good day working, and I thought.
What was your job? Were you like an ambassador?
Yeah, so I did the wagering ambassador for like the VIP area, and then like between every race, Zoe and I got up and did like a 1 minute handicapping. Like, hey, I like this horse. I like this horse. This is how we'd bet it. Done. You know,
super fun.
So yeah, that was really fun. And
then I do that at Preakness again, like you did last year.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
See, and let me say that's one of my favorite days is Preakness Day again, but I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's confined to that area that we get to sit in, and it's like so much fun. I have no idea why. I have no idea why. Like it's just a fun day, and it's owned by the same people. I think they kind of try to make Pegasus a little Preakness-y, but it just doesn't feel the same. I don't know why.
Well, you know why? Because like you said, you didn't want to be in the Carousel Club area.
Yeah.
And the Carousel Club area was definitely popping. I will say though, for the first 8 races, no one, like, I mean, it wasn't that busy, you know what I mean? Like it was, and then come like race 8, all of a sudden you are wall to wall with like the hottest chicks you've ever seen. The guys dressed to the nines, everyone dumping cash into the machines, wanting to play. Like, I mean, I guess it could be just the Miami kind of feel to it, but they come, you know, late in the day, and then they're there, and we stayed late. I mean, we were there till, well, I probably stayed till like 10, which was late for me.
Yeah.
And it was super fun. Like
maybe that's what I need to do next year.
You know, the DJs were great, and we sat with at Sheikh Fahad's table with like all the jockeys.
Oh yeah.
And so we were like, you know, great view to the stage. Which if you want to see music or see the DJs up close, like the Carousel Club is a place to be, right? Just for your regular Carousel Club ticket, I mean, you're 25 feet away from the stage. So it was fun. We had a really good time after. An overall safe day of racing. And look, you got a little something for everybody, right? I thought it was going to be super speed favoring, and so we kind of leaned that way a little bit, which bit us in the butt later on. But we had some favorites, we had some upsets, we had like really good races. There were some crazy things that happened. Did you see the drunk girl that stole a pony horse?
I heard about that. I did not see that. That's pretty funny. Aiden told me about that when I saw him, or Stacy, I can't remember.
It was like right before the filly and mare turf.
Yeah. Well, continuing soapboxing to our 2 stakes races at Santa Anita on Saturday.
Yeah.
Which is something I've been talking about for years, and I've talked about it on this show. You have 9 horses in 2 races, a 4-horse field with 2 Bafferts and a 5-horse field with 3 Bafferts. To me, it's not even horse racing. I mean, it's very frustrating from the outside looking in. And you could look at that and say, hey, go compete. But it's almost impossible to compete with that because
his guys are spending the most money.
It's not a level playing field. There are all these groups combining to these big groups. It'd be like, if there were no more partnerships like Little Red Feather and Eclipse and West Point and 5 others just got together in a conglomerate and said, these are all the horses we're buying, and they're all going to one guy. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And it's a shame because those are good races, but I love the Santa Monica. It was one of my favorite races, and we got a 4-horse field. Like, where are the horses?
Do you think going to places like Oaklawn, where they're going to run in a 14-horse field, but because there's 1 Baffert instead of 3, they feel easier? I mean, is that what it is? Do they?
No, I think this is a historic trend, and I think it goes back 15 years. And I
Baffert's won the Lewis the last 7 years running.
I call it the Baffertization of Southern California. So what happens is, over time, once this trend started happening, once the Avengers came up, and once when this started happening, people like us and other bigger owners, whether it's from the Mark Lapp barn or the Sadler barn or whoever, I mean, every once in a while they'll pop up with a 3-year-old dirt horse, right? But it's very rare. We have one. I mean, Stronghold, we already used him, won the Santa Anita Derby last year. But when we're going, that was a homebred. When we're going to these sales to buy yearlings and 2-year-olds, and we're kind of looking for maybe a turfy influence, or because you can't buy the big colts. The 2-turn well-bred colts are all
because they're millions.
All going to this one group, or like Brad Cox had a group that Bradley Weisbord put together, and they bought 20 or 30, and Bob's group buys 30 or 35, and not just that group, but Bob has probably 40 or 50. They're all the best. It'd be like if you abolished
the owner cap, like the cap in football, right? Or baseball.
Like if you had the NFL draft and you just gave one team all the first-round draft picks, and they could sign them for whatever they wanted, and there was no salary cap, well, who would win?
Yeah.
Like, it makes it very
difficult. I mean, salary cap is what keeps it fair, right? More fair. I mean,
they want parity. That's what these leagues want, whether it's NBA or, now they have the second apron in the NBA, but like Major League Baseball, like a lot of people are complaining about the Dodgers right now because they're getting all these free agents and all these Japanese guys, and they just won the World Series with the highest payroll, them and the Yankees, right? Because they're big market teams. I mean, go watch Moneyball. Go watch the story of the Oakland A's. That's honestly, I feel like we're the Oakland A's. I mean, that's what I feel like. And we spend more money than a lot of other people, and we're still the Oakland A's. So it's very it's challenging. I'm not, and don't get me wrong, if you're watching this, I'm not complaining. This is not a complaint. I'm worried about the landscape of Southern California when we have the Santa Monica and San Vicente?
Bob Lewis.
The Bob Lewis. We have the Bob Lewis and the San Vicente, and we get 9 total horses, and 5 of the 9 are trained by one person.
Yeah,
that's not good. It's not a good plan. It's not sustainable. It's good for Bob and those teams. Yeah, it's great.
And it keeps California on the map. If a California horse wins the Derby, then they're like, it came from California, right?
Right.
So on the other hand, when you're doing the Graded Stakes Committee, I'm sure a lot of people want to abolish all of our graded stakes or try and change something. So how do you kind of reconcile that?
It's very difficult to do because this running, the way that the Graded Stakes Committee works is you get points, you get NARC points. So basically, you see what these horses go on to do the rest of the year, and every race goes back 5 years. So you kind of take the race as a whole when it comes up. And, if you continually it's a very slippery slope, because you could have a race like, say, the Alabama, right, which is a famed race, Grade One at Saratoga, and you could have 5 horses in it, but all 5 are Grade One winners.
Right.
So how do you look at that race? It's not just about one thing. It's about field size. It's also about prestige. It's about what kind of horses are running in that race.
Right.
So you're kind of, if all 3 of the Baffert 3-year-olds, one wins the Travers and one wins the Derby and one wins the Breeders' Cup, well, guess what? Then that 5-horse field was a really, really good race, because those horses actually went on and did something in their careers. But so you have to kind of sometimes bypass that field size. I'm just saying, for the better, for the player, and for the landscape of Southern California, it'd be nice to have larger fields in these races. And unfortunately, when all the horses are in one barn, it makes it not pretty. How about that?
Well, I mean, we're feeding into it. Like, you have the best guy. So the best people spend the best money on the best horses and give them to the best guy. So it feeds itself. And when you do tell someone, hey, you bought that $3 million horse, don't give that to Baffert. Give that to, Hector Palmer.
That's not fair. You can't tell I've talked to a couple of trainers, and I asked them, I'm like, and I said, like, hey, is there, we talked about a cap on trainers' horses. Like, in the old days, you got 40 stalls, right? Well, that doesn't work anymore. And what one of the trainers told me, and I won't say his name, but one of the trainers said, well, you can't. It's exactly what you just said. Like, if someone came up to this particular person and said, hey, sorry, he can't take your horses, you'll have to go to somebody else, that person would basically say, well, fuck you, I'm leaving. I don't want to be in busy. You're my guy. I've been with you for 20 years. Now you can't be my trainer.
I mean, look, that was a perfect example when Bob couldn't run in the Kentucky Derby last year, right? And instead of taking their horses to other people, they were like, we'll wait. We will wait with our trainer.
Yep.
Right. And that is the beauty of how our world works, is that you have your money, you buy your product, and you give it to who you want to.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like you say, I mean, no hate on Bob and no hate on the Avengers or anybody. It's just the way.
I don't like when people, and I've talked about this before, Michelle, I don't like when people come on and they have gripes, or they say these things and they don't have solutions. I'm sorry. I don't have the solution. We in California are on an island. We've talked about it ad nauseum, that we can't go to 6 other tracks within an hour and a half of our track. Like, we have to be here. So if we're here and there's one person dominating that particular division, and domination is what it is, you have to find other avenues to compete. We win the
our turf races are all really great here for
I mean,
90% of the time, right?
Why do you think
all
that
of our
is?
other races fill pretty well, except for these 2 divisions.
Why do you think that is?
Because do you think that Baffert doesn't have those kind of horses? That's
right.
it.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, Riggins is barking. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. It should be a fun weekend at Santa Anita. The sun just came out at 4:30 in the afternoon.
So I want to know what horse of Bob's 3 you like in the Lewis.
So you got Citizen Bull, who just won the Breeders' Cup. He'll be tough. I think that horse Rodriguez ran really good last time, and I think he'll be tough. Who's the third one? Matticat Road?
Yeah.
Well, as a gambler, it's going to be tough to bet on any of them, because what happens is you don't know which one Bob says, hey, you're going to take the lead today, which is another thing that kills the bettors,
Rodriguez and Citizen Bull both like the lead, but Matticat Road can come from off, right?
Right. So, yeah, but
and then there's the Wesley Ward. The Wesley Ward could just go to the
Wesley Ward is probably going to scratch, right? Like, we're taking this. He always does. He enters and then scratches, like, all the time. Is he out there? Does anybody know? Like, I don't know. So I think I would probably look. I figure Citizen Bull will be the favorite, so I would probably look towards Rodriguez or Matticat Road. I like the way Matticat Road extended his stride late. Looks like he really does want 2 turns. Maybe he sits off. I have absolutely no idea. I haven't really looked and studied the numbers yet, but I would take one of those 3.
Okay, so looking at, I pulled up DRF right now.
Yeah.
And let me give credit where credit is due to Brad Free. It says Gerardo Corrales rides Clock Tower, who was trained particularly well over the Santa Anita dirt. Johnny V, Kent DeSormo, and Mike Smith have all worked him and have given Ward and Blake Heat positive feedback.
Okay, good luck. I say he doesn't hit the board.
Okay.
And he's a good horse.
Turf horse.
He's a turf horse coming to Santa Anita to take on Bob. Like, if they win, fantastic. Yeah. Good for them. Like, I'll be very happy for them. But I can't. I wouldn't bet on it.
Do you like the Swale Stakes any better?
I saw the entries this morning, but I didn't really look at it.
I didn't either because I don't cover Gulfstream Park normally.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
This is good for our audience where it's just silence.
It's not, well, they're just looking. Oh, not the Swale Stakes. Sorry, I meant the Holy Bull.
Yeah. I loved Holy Bull. What my favorite thing is about Twitter?
What?
When people
watching
put up old videos? Races. Yeah. Like, I stop at every race. Like, I watch old Breeders' Cup races. They had Holy Bull winning. I believe it was the Travers, maybe.
Yeah.
I think he beat Concern, I want to say, off the top of my head. And I thank you to all you people who on X or Twitter or whatever you call it, post all the old races, because I think they're great. And it's so fun to watch.
Okay. So the Holy Bull.
When I do my socials, that's what I call it. Chio taught me that. Like once a day, when you have a break, you just do your socials.
My socials. So yeah. I try to limit my TikTok to nighttime or in between races if I'm working and I've done all my other work.
Right.
I try not to TikTok at all during the day so I can save it up for doom scrolling.
I can't. What is doom scrolling?
That's where you just scroll for 2 hours straight.
That's a great name for a horse.
Doom scroll?
Doom scroll.
Yeah.
You got to get that. I stay far away from TikTok because I find myself I could. But on my For You page, it's Michelle Yu making lunch and Michelle Yu taking her kids to a concert and Michelle Yu going to Disneyland. That's my whole For You page. And Cooper.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that's not your For You. That's your following. If you click at the top on the right, it says For You, and that will be more.
I like the dances. I do like the dances.
Yeah, we haven't had any good dances. The last dance that I know was the Dasha dance.
I don't know what that is.
The girl that played at Pegasus.
Oh, no.
She has this really great song.
I like when they do the fun dances. And
then she has a great song that had a little TikTok dance to it.
And I like when the one person dances and then they point to the other person and then the other person has to dance and sometimes they don't dance. And the guy's like, what are you doing?
I love trendy dances. I suck at most of them, but I do like them.
We should do one and bring it on the show.
I'm for it. Okay. All right, let me see. So the Holy Bull is Kinetic Control, who just broke his maiden gate to wire at Churchill in November, going a mile and a 16th, and he has routed his last 3.
Okay.
Ferocious with the blinkers on, who broke his maiden first time and then ran second, the Hopeful and the Breeders' Futurity.
He's supposed to be training well, that horse.
But Gustavo always says, oh, he's at 80% or not. You know what I mean? It's never 100%.
Yeah.
Tappan Street, maiden first time out winner for Brad Cox at Gulfstream. Guns Loaded, who won a maiden and then the Mucho Macho Man for Jose D'Angelo.
Yeah, I like that.
Joji Carroll has He's Not Joking, who won the Gray at Woodbine. Look, he ran second by a neck. He won a maiden. He ran third in the display. He won the Gray, all on synthetic. And then his last time he ran on dirt, he got beat 10.
Yeah.
Burning Glory, maiden winner for Bill Mott. And then Burnham Square, maiden winner for Ian Wilkes.
I like the one who won the Gun Runner.
Who Guns Loaded?
Yeah, Guns Loaded.
Okay. The one that won the Mucho Macho Man.
Lila, you can't cry. I'm on a show right now. Literally sitting here. Wait.
What's the matter?
What are you doing?
What's the matter?
Reagan's jumped up on the.
Oh, they're so funny, aren't they? Reagan's.
Yeah, no one's home, and I just didn't want to shut the door. Okay, we're almost done, guys. You know what else bothers me while we're talking about Twitter and X? Something that bugs me, and I'd like your opinion. I don't like when guys win, and then the next all the comments say oh, he's juicing.
Yeah,
that just bugs me. It just bugs me, and I know there's certain guys that whatever, they could be sketchy. I don't know how they do it, and I just don't want to go right away to that guy's cheating.
Yeah,
I hate that. It bothers me. Anyway, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, anytime anyone does good, they're like, "Oh, he's cheating. He's cheating."
Right.
Could be the most honest trainer ever. Look here's Pipey, right? Everyone loves Pipey, and he'll win at 7%, and everyone's like, "Pipey's the best guy." and then he wins at like 30 because like, and he said before the meet, I'm like loaded. All the races are perfect. Yeah. The perfect conditions, right? Win at 30%. Cheating. It's like, you guys just got done like saying he's the best, greatest guy.
Pipey's the best.
Pipey is the best. Like, I don't think
that case is settled. He should. That was very disappointing.
I agree. But it's people just can't handle when other people do really well.
I agree.
Right?
All right, I'm being yelled at by my dogs right now. I mean, if you can see Lila, she's literally sitting there going like this, like, be done.
All right. Well, everybody, I'm really sorry our guest canceled. I hope you enjoyed listening to Billy's Soapbox. I know I did.
I'll see you this weekend at Santa Anita.
Yay! You're going to come?
I'm going to come Friday and Sunday.
All right. I'll be there.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.